Kick things off here. All right. Let me just ask if we need to do we need to start transmitting video? Are we going to do that? Good. Thank you kindly. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to call to order this meeting of the Nevada Commission for the Construction of the V&T Railway. It is 9:06 a.m. And we'll go right to item number 2, which is our roll call and determination of quorum. Sherry, would you mind doing that for us? Or Tamar? What do we want?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll do my last one for you.
All right, let's do it, Tamar.
Chair Mitchell,
I'm here.
Vice Chair Peterson.
Present.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you, so that's good. Treasurer Cruz,
Here.
Secretary Hicks, you have a quorum.
Very good, thank you. All right, we'll move to item number 3, which is a Pledge of Allegiance, if you'd like to join me in that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, that brings us to item number 4, which is public comment. The public is invited at this time to comment on and discuss any topic that's relevant to or within the authority of this public body. Lucas, are we okay with just having the printed public comment limitations, or do you think I should read those out loud? What do you think?
The printed limitation should be fine.
Okay, very good. Is there anyone either here in the room or online that would like to make public comment? Very good. Hearing none, we will close public comment and move on to item number 5, which is for possible action, and that is the approval of the minutes from our September 22nd, 2025 meeting. Any questions or comments from members of the commission? All right, hearing none, we'll take public comment. Any public comment on the minutes from our September 22nd meeting? Great, hearing none, I will entertain a motion for their approval.
I move to approve the minutes of the September 22nd, 2025 meeting as presented.
Very good. We have a motion.
I'll second.
And we have a second. The motion from Leah and the second from Dave. Any final discussion on this item? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Let's move on to item number 6, which is for possible action. That's discussion and possible action regarding the V&T Commission's statement of accounts payable. Checks totaling $77,817.03 paid August 1st through 31st, 2025. Leah, do you have anything to add on this item?
No comment on my side unless the board has questions.
All right, very good. Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move to approve the payable checks in the amount totaling $77,817.03 as presented.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
Excellent. We've got a second
I'll
as well. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Passes unanimously. All right, let's move on to item number 7, which is discussion and possible action regarding the V&T Commission's adjusted fiscal year 2025-2026 budget reports for the period of August 2025. Leah, do you have anything for us on this one?
I do not, unless anyone has questions.
Very good. Any questions or comments from the board?
None on my end.
Excellent. That's a healthy bank account balance that we're sporting there. It's not too shabby. I know that's gonna go out for expenses coming up for sure, but no complaints. All right. Unless there's further discussion, public comment. Any public comment on this item? All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move to approve the budget reports as presented.
I'll second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And passes unanimously. Moving right along to item number 8. This is for discussion and possible action regarding the authorization of a member of the V&T Commission to coordinate with the Virginia City Tourism Commission on a potential partnership for coordination, operation, maintenance of a passenger van and to begin procurement planning for the passenger van. I guess I can take this and just give an overview on the item. Back during the 2025-2026 budget planning, the commission budgeted $75,000 for the purchase of a van or a shuttle for V&T Railway use. The commission is being asked to authorize a member to engage, and it could be anyone, but I'd be happy to be that member, to engage with the Virginia City Tourism Commission to establish a formal partnership for the coordination, operation, and maintenance. It says for a 15-passenger van. I'm thinking it's probably more of a 12 or 13-passenger shuttle with a ADA accessible wheelchair lift. This partnership will support transportation needs and enhance guest services during the upcoming train season. It's recommended that the commission approve the initiation of procurement procedures for the purchase of said van with the goal of securing the vehicle prior to the start of the next train season. The VCTC has expressed an interest in collaborating on this initiative, recognizing the mutual benefits of shared transportation services. A coordinated partnership would allow both organizations to contribute to the van's operational success while maximizing its utility. Once the terms of a partnership have been established and the van to be procured is identified, it will come back before the commission for final approval. So with that, I'll open it up to the commission for discussion on this item.
Yes. As you are aware, VCTC is very happy to work with the V&T Railway on this. Obviously, there's a lot of questions that would need to be hammered out, I'm assuming in the form of like an MOU, something like that. But the main questions that I have that I just want to bring forward before we move forward on it to make sure that we really focus on these things are obviously like the insurance pools and policies, like how that is going to come into play between Carson City and Story County. making sure that that's coordinated well, because it won't just, I'm assuming it won't just be operating in Story County. It would be down at the Eastgate Depot as well, which would make it a little bit of a gray area for us, since right now we only have a shuttle that operates in Story County. But that's not overcomable. That's not a word, but just wanted to put it out there that we got to make sure that that's in line. And then the other issues that we would need to look into would be like the cost share ratio, like in terms of obviously the purchase would come from V&T funds, but what about maintenance? Obviously our staff, I should say, would be the staffing side of it, but how would we work through that? These are all just things that would need to be lined out and everybody agree on it. And then storage location and fueling, those sorts of things. And then who has the operational schedule oversight? Like who dispatches it? Is it just V&T Railway, or is it, can VCTC say, hey, we have something and we could, so just things like that to put through. Other than that, it does outline how, if we do kick in some costs, and by we, I always mean VCTC when I'm in this instance, the cost to operate it, we just have to make sure that any costs that we expend towards that align with our transportation initiatives and tourism initiatives and things like that, which I don't foresee there being any sorts of issue. So these are all I just wanted to put it out on the record that these are the things that we would need to make sure, and I'm sure I'm missing some stuff, so if either of you have anything else that we need to add to some sort of MOU, then I'm happy to hear.
Very good. Thank you. Vice Chair Peterson, anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add because Leah kind of honestly addressed any of the questions that I had. That idea of it coming down to Carson City, Leah, the first part there, I heard, and then it sort of cut on me, but were you're talking about the different insurance requirements that may be in effect in Carson City County to operate the shuttle versus Story County? And we would just need to work through that.
Right. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any issue. It's just like being insured in Washoe County
Okay.
and driving in Lyon County. It's not a problem, but I just want to make sure that just make sure it's notated that who is responsible for what insurance wise. So.
Yeah. Okay. My last question, Chair, if I may. So I feel like when we put the budget together, I'm just trying to look, I thought we did include for some maintenance or gas or something. We put something somewhere in the budget, if we were to share the costs, am I right about that?
I think you are right, and I vaguely remember somewhere in the range of, I don't know, $10,000-$15,000, something like that, for just costs related to operating the vehicle.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm still 100% behind this, you guys. I think it's a great thing. And Leah, I mean, if you guys are able to utilize it, the rest of the week when we're not running the train, I think that's a great benefit as well. And I think it goes a long way toward customer service, as you said in your opening comments, Chair. So I love it.
Very good. Thank you. One of the other thoughts that I've had is we've talked for years about trying to do some packaging with hotels in Carson City, and I don't think we're ready for that yet. And maybe that's not reflected, but any sort of agreement maybe we leave the door open for that kind of a use and what that would look like if we're able to get to the point where we're using it for a group, maybe a group that wants to come ride the train, that we can go grab them at their hotel and bring them over, something like that. But I don't, given just our current operations and needs, I'm thinking the starting point would be mostly used in Virginia City. But of course, having the flexibility as we have other needs to use it. So,
Agreed.
Very good. All right. With that, I'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment on this item? All right. Hearing none, I'll bring it back for a motion, if so desired.
So I guess we need to. How are we going to move forward with the coordination? Obviously, I work in with VCTC very closely, and I just don't know.
You do.
Weird. I just, so in terms of a motion, I'm not really sure. I don't know if Dave wants to take the motion or if I should, I don't know, like.
Sure. Yeah, I
I
don't.
can make a motion.
I was going to say I don't know if there's any problem with the motion. I think with who makes the motion.
Right.
I think potentially one of the things to think about, because I'm a board member on the VCTC as well. I don't know if that creates any sort of conflict. If it's better for an independent or someone who's not associated with the VCTC to be representing this body in those conversations. I think the agenda item was broad enough that we could appoint any of us to move forward on this, and I was certainly happy to lead that up, but I wouldn't want to if that creates some sort of a conflict. So I'll look to legal counsel for maybe some guidance on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Obviously, this commission can act in all of its powers outlined in the special statute creating it. In that, I would have to double check anything about any potential conflicts or anything. I know that, but you're correct. Is the agenda item as it's written is broad enough that any of the members of this commission could be appointed to serve in the role that's outlined in that agenda item.
Very good. So maybe what I might suggest at this point is to if we need to do a little bit of checking just to make sure that there's not a conflict, maybe the motion is to authorize a member of the commission and authorize the chair to appoint that member. Is that something that we could do?
The other option at that point, if there's a concern about which specific member, obviously, it would be preferable to have the individual specifically named at this point. The commission doesn't have to take action on this item today also if we needed to run that check.
Got it.
Are we looking to have this implemented by the next season? So, I mean, we have time, or obviously we want to purchase it sooner rather than later. Think cost on everything just keeps going up and up, and but it's not like we have to I don't want to say pull the trigger, but yeah, pull the trigger tomorrow. So
Right. The way I'm looking at it is this. I think we actually budgeted last year and then rolled it over to this year. We didn't take any action on it. And the way I look at it is the first step is really to have this in-depth conversation and visualize usage, responsibilities, cost sharing, all those kind of things. And I'm hoping that we can make some progress on those things prior to really getting into the heart of budget season, because I think that will have impacts. And so,
and VCTC will have to work through their budget side too for the staffing portion of
Right.
it and things like that. So yes, I agree.
So to me, it's preferable if we're able to get the process started today, but certainly not a must.
I mean, obviously, I'm happy to work through the, I can almost draft like an MOU from looking at both sides of the coin here, the VCTC side and whatever, and bring that forward if wanted. And then I can reach out to whoever to make sure that it's, correct and fair and all that before we even bring it here, and then have everybody review it again. I don't care what we do. I'm happy to take the reins on whatever I need to on this, though, because this is important for us, VCTC, as well as the
Sure.
VNT. So
Vice Chair Peterson, would you be comfortable taking on the role of kind of negotiating or leading that conversation from the side of the Rail Commission?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that,
Okay.
Chair. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
since I have to
that
work
keeps everybody
closely
out
with
of-
Dave again, I'm always working with Dave.
You better get a new phone number.
I tried that.
Yeah.
I think I just feel like
Chair,
that.
I'm happy.
Thank you very much. I feel like that
Yeah.
separation makes things a little bit cleaner and and makes it so that it's for lack of a better term, more of an arm's length transaction as opposed to because we're so intertwined with our responsibilities.
So then I'm happy
Yeah.
to make the motion then.
Very good.
I move to authorize David Peterson to coordinate with VCTC on the partnership for the operation and maintenance of a passenger van and begin procurement planning.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we, I will just point out that Stephanie's not here. So if we wanted to make
True.
her do it, we could.
Oh, yes.
So, Vice
I'll-
Chair Peterson, I
I'll
will just
second
point out
that.
that if you don't second it, it will die for lack of a second, and then we can come back with another motion. But if you'd like to second it, that's perfectly fine too.
I'm happy to second that motion.
Very good. Any final discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you both.
Yeah, of course.
All right. This brings us on to item number 9, discussion and possible action. This is for possible action. Discussion and possible action regarding authorization for a member of the V&T Commission to work with the Story County Comptroller to explore options for transferring excess funds from the commission bank account into an interest-bearing financial vehicle. And just to summarize that, the commission's operating account regularly maintains a balance exceeding $1 million with no interest earned on idle funds. Staff recommends investigating secure, compliant alternatives such as money market accounts or other low-risk instruments that could generate passive income while preserving liquidity. Coordination with the comptroller will ensure alignment with county policies and investment guidelines. Once a viable interest-bearing vehicle is identified, it will be brought before the commission for final action. So with that, I'll open this item up for conversation. I will just mention that I had a kind of an informal conversation with the comptroller and just trying to get an idea of what's possible, what's available. I don't believe that we fall under the guidelines of local government and local government finance because we're a state commission. There are responsibilities and requirements about what local government is allowed to invest in. And really that it has to do with a conservative approach, maintaining capital as opposed to speculation. But I think those principles probably are good ones to follow as is. And so it sounded like it would be fairly easy, and we can ask her to outline some options. What's interesting is I've watched a little bit what's out there, and it seems like kind of the sweet spot right now, if you're going to invest in something that locks up funds, is sitting in kind of this short to mid-term range. So you're not really getting a lot more on interest for locking up funds long-term. But if, for example, you're looking at a CD in the 6, 7, 8, 9 month range, that's about the best you can get. You don't get more for locking things up longer. And so CDs are one tool, but you don't have the liquidity. You could split it into multiple CDs and have them with staggered maturities so that you have that money coming available. There are certainly money market funds and others that are actually paying fairly similar interest rates. And then the other tool that a lot of the local governments are using is what's called a sweep account, which is set up to take the funds that are sitting in your operating account at night, sweep them into an interest-bearing vehicle, and then they're back there by the morning time. And so you're actually getting interest potentially on your operating funds without them being unavailable for use. So certainly there are a lot of different options available. The county has several investment advisors, and I imagine that the comptroller would be able to access them if we felt that was appropriate to advise us on maybe how to structure something like that. So with that, I'll open it up for any other questions or comments.
Yeah, I guess everything you've said, yes. All those things are options. I think our next step would be to request like comparative rate sheets and risk summaries from those people that are much more knowledgeable in that area. And then we can kind of decide which way we'd like to go. But my biggest, I don't want to say it's a concern because it's not really a concern. Money's going to always be accessible, but I like the idea of some sort of automatic sweep so that we're never really worried that, oh, well, we have the CD that doesn't mature until 6 months from now, but we need to do whatever. So just from my point of view, just to keep that liquidity super liquidity. I think that's probably the best way. And then also, obviously, the FDIC coverage for anything we have. We just need to make sure that we're in line with all that kind of stuff. But I think it's a great idea. I think any entity that has money just sitting, it should be doing something for the entity, and right now it's not. So
Yeah, very good. Vice Chair Peterson?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I love this idea as well. I do have a question, and you just hit, Leah. As a state commission, are we required to put this money into something that is FDIC
that
backed?
that I'm not sure. That's why I have the note on here to look into that and see what the rules and regs are for that,
Okay.
because I'm not 100% sure.
Because I do like the idea. I'm not a big one on the CD front, but I do like the idea of a high yield money market interest account, like a Federated Hermes, something along those lines, which sits anywhere from 4 to 4.5 over the last 2-3 years or so. And then I only know this from personal experience, but the ability to go into an account like that, and then if you had to move the money back into our Wells Fargo account to pay the bills or something comes up, I mean, you're talking about next day, right? The money could be transferred back in there. So I definitely, I like that. I'm not as familiar with the sweeping accounts. Do we have a thought how much money we want to keep in the checking account? Like maybe do an analysis on our cash flow, based on the checks that we cut, because PEX is kind of a weird, we front load all the money from the ticket sales, and then we have very large payments that come out, especially to rail events is a very large chunk, and one check I think in January or something like that. So I'm thinking we should probably take a look at our cash flow needs, and then we could adjust a balance for whatever we put this thing in accordingly, by month, maybe almost chart something out like that. And then I just a concern that I have is I'd love to look at options where we're not paying fees, if at all possible, to a financial institution. We're shaving 1% or 1.5% off to somebody else. I don't mind the front end looking at getting it set up, but if we can do something in a high yield account where you don't pay any fees, I think that's to our benefits. Of just speaking from personal experience there, more money we can keep in this account and not pay it to financial institutions, I think would behoove us to look at that option, maybe as a 1A and then a 1B if we were going to have a financial advisor or something on the account.
Absolutely. Great, thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking along very similar lines, and one of the questions I think for the professional advisors is to maintain proper insurance coverage. Is there a need to split between multiple vehicles or multiple institutions to make sure that we're covered up to? There is also, if I understand correctly, a state investment pool. And I don't know the pros and cons of that, but that's also something that we can look at and see if it might be appropriate for some of our money. I will, Dave, as I'm thinking about it, because of the structure of there's quite a bit of fluctuation, right, in our account balance because of the seasonality. But the good news is it's revenue in first and then expenses out, as opposed to the opposite, which means I think we can be a little more aggressive on how much we commit to something like this because we're front loading the revenue. And so it's not like we dip down and then make it back. Certainly there's some variability. The other thing to put in the mix, and this is something I talked about with Jennifer, is that if we needed liquidity, we can request the subsidy from Story County at any point during the fiscal year, the $250,000. By default, it comes at the end of the fiscal year, but there's nothing that says it has to. And so just to put that in our minds as we're thinking about it, that could come in if we had something unexpected that we needed more, we could ask for that at a point earlier in the year. And so So anyway, yeah, I think,
Oh, that's great.
but we do need to do some analysis.
And I think the advisors will have, there's like a set formula for, operating costs and how much you should put away and what, and they'll know that
Yeah.
like in 5 seconds. They'll be like, oh, you should definitely.
Yep.
So,
When I think what's exciting is looking at these sweep accounts is potentially the ability to earn interest on basically all of our money, right? So the sweep account is there to earn you some interest, but never have it not in your control. And so when the banks close, it goes and earns some interest. When the banks open, it's back in your account, ready to go. And so then the question may be, how much do we move over into something separate that's dedicated to, and then could we also be earning money on our operating account? And if it seems like things are sitting in that 4% range, that's significant. An extra $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, that's a significant amount of advertising or something that we can invest into beefing up our operations. So
agreed.
very
Could
good.
I just ask a follow-up, Clay?
Sure.
Yeah, when you mentioned the state investment pool, I realize that we're not a state agency, and obviously they're required to work within the confines of that structure within the treasurer's office. We probably need to determine as a state commission, are we beholden to the same requirements, or are we allowed to operate outside the state investment pool with the treasurer's office? We probably should clarify, what we are allowed to do or aren't allowed to do
Yeah. Dave, we've been trying
as a
to get
state
some clarity on what we are for the last year and a half. We asked the legislature and they
Right.
didn't want to tell us, interim committees and the legislature. And I don't know if we've actually asked for a formal opinion from the attorney general, but we're kind of this orphan entity out here. And so yeah, well, absolutely. It's certainly something that we should look at. I have a feeling that because we're not internal to the state and because we're not a local government, we may have more flexibility than either of those types of entities do, but certainly something we should look into. Very good. Any other comments? We'll go to public comment. Any public comment on this item? All right, hearing none, I'll be happy to entertain a motion. I believe this one was set as well as kind of a broad, let's see, what was it? I'm happy to take the lead on this if that's something that you'd like me to do. So if that's the way you'd like to move it.
Well, that being the case.
I can make a motion then.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead, Leah. I'm sorry.
I move to authorize Clay Mitchell to collaborate with the Story County Comptroller to identify and evaluate interest-bearing options for excess commission funds.
I'll second that.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Oh, we lost him. We're going to take a brief recess. Yep, 36. And we started late. Yep. We'll take a brief recess while we get our WebEx back up and running. were, I asked for the vote, and that's when you disappeared. So we will pick it back up. We will pick it back up right at that point. So I will just offer one more opportunity for any further discussion on this item. All right, hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. That passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, that brings us to our discussion only items under item number 10. We will go ahead and start with a marketing update from Melissa Dietz, and then we'll move right into social media update from Regina. Melissa.
Good morning. I didn't necessarily have a whole lot to say. Our campaign, our paid media campaign wrapped up this past weekend. I have some data on the digital deliverables, but I'm still waiting for my invoices to come in from our traditional media channel. So I'll have a full campaign recap next month that will include all of that. I will say the one like search, paid search had like a 31% click-through rate, which is outstanding. So yeah, so we saw some good numbers, but I'll get that all compiled nicely for next month.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
All right, Regina, you have anything for us? She signed on, but
Well, while we're waiting for her, I had a thought. I know it's terrifying. About so there's been this season. It feels like there's been not a disconnect in a bad way, but there's been a disconnect between the VCTC marketing, V&T's marketing, Carson marketing, and I'm wondering if maybe during our next operating season we can whoever the agency of record is for like VCTC and Carson, if maybe we could do some sort of like quarterly, just a Zoom even, where those agencies are together to say, this is what we have planned to market for whatever, and how can we work together a little better? Just not something we obviously need to make a motion on, do anything on right now. I just want it to be in all of our brains that maybe next year that's something we can actually be a little more proactive about, because I feel like VCTC is kind of like behind on everything. Like, oh, they shared that, so we should share it. And instead, we can have some sort of plan moving forward that makes sense in from the beginning through the end. So,
very good. Thank you. All right. Well, I will. I'll leave it open, Regina. If you can hear me, feel free to just jump in if you have something. I'm going to move on through these other items. I don't see Chris here for a track maintenance update, so we will move past that to Miss Candy Duncan for an operations and train report.
Good morning, Candy Duncan, Virginia Truckee Railroad. Well, Polar sales are just doing great, of course. All the private rooms are gone. There are maybe one or two single seats in the VIP sitting room in December. Otherwise, the whole month of December is now sold out. In November, we still have coaches available, most of them on the 8 o'clock runs. Some of the November days, I think, especially like the day after Thanksgiving, that weekend, are sold out. So if you haven't, someone who wants tickets, November is the month to get them. And I looked at the reports today, and it looked like we've sold more, a little fewer seats, but we've made more money. Did you see that? In the Fair Harbor? So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know how we did that. Maybe more trip protection, I think, might have been it. So yeah, so it's kind of slowed down a little bit as far as phone calls. Now I'm getting mostly just people who realize they picked the wrong day and they want to move and they can't. So that's what I'm going through. And then the other thing, which I don't think we need to do this year, but I would really like to do next year, is Fair Harbor now has a really good waiting list program that they didn't have before. So it used to be they had a waiting list, but it still had to be maintained by the ticket person would have to call people and let them know when there was a availability, but now the system will let them know. So you don't have to have anything to do with it. You cancel because of trip protection, then it will show up and people can buy it if they want it. It'll notify them. So I'd like to do that next year. I think that'd be a good service. And the season is ended as far as the regular season goes, and I think it was a pretty good season with the exception of a couple of one-car days for the diesels, but I'm sure we all have lots of great ideas about what we can do next year to build that ridership up. And I know there's a thought, well, why do we run diesel at all? But I think it does help the operation, and I think we can still sell more seats on diesel if we're just a little bit smarter about how we market it. And I'm sure we can do that. So I'm looking forward to that. And also when we do our retreat, I've been thinking about some improvements maybe we might be able to make to the Eastgate Depot because of, especially now with Polar and thinking about how cold that depot gets because we have to open those big overhead doors. There's 3 times a night they have to be open. They have people coming in and leaving. And it's freezing in there, and it's uncomfortable not only for staff, but also passengers. I think we have to quit looking at Eastgate as if it was a garage, get rid of those overhead doors, put in double doors so that they can actually be closed, big glass double doors or something like that. And the other thing I'd really like to see us investigate is a better access for people in wheelchairs, strollers, walkers, because the only way in is either up steps or around the building in the gravel. And I just think we could do better with that too. So something to think about during the retreat. But other than that, I know Tom is getting busy too with his last pumpkin trains up in Virginia City and Halloween trains and train of lights and Polar and Candy Cane Express. So it's a busy time for all of us, but it's a lot of fun. And so far it's been great.
Fantastic, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
Chair, may I just ask a follow-up on the
Absolutely.
VEX ticket sales? Thank you, sir. Candy, do you know approximately on how many of those coach 8 p.m. November tickets are left? I mean, is it a negligible amount where we'll basically sell them out, or do we need to think about redirecting any kind of marketing money toward them, or do you feel like we'll end up, 100% sold out?
Yeah, I think that there's just a couple of, I'm just looking at here we go, in November. So there are, it's not that many. It's some of the coaches
Okay.
will have like, I'm just looking here to see. They all look like they're doing pretty good. Maybe the most benches that I see for that one at 8 is like 11.
Oh, okay.
And then,
Oh, great.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's not a terrible amount. I mean, let me take a closer look at it, and then I can let you guys know
Okay.
if there's any days I think we could use some help on.
Yeah, because we could, to my colleague Leah's point earlier,
Mhm.
either we or VCTC, we could throw something out on our own organic social,
Sure.
I think, I know Regina maybe can't hear us, but she could do the same, for those specific days,
Mhm.
And just, oh, lucky, lucky you, we've got November, whatever,
Right, yeah,
20th available with 10 seats.
I can definitely do that. I'll put together a report for you this afternoon.
Very good.
Cool. Yeah. No, great job with PEX. So I'd just like to thank the team, Chair, if I may, for kicking butt on those ticket sales and getting everything squared up, and for Candy, your work on building out the seating assignments right in the Fair Harbor for the first time. So I think that was really, really well done, well executed. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you so much. All right. Thank you again, Candy. Yeah. Okay. Regina, are you back with us?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to do a quick recap, a 90-day recap of socials. This is combining organic and paid. So it looks like went up quite a bit since we spent a little bit more than usual because that pixel issue finally resolved. So I was able to get in touch with some folks over at Meta, sent over some documentations to prove that I am the agency in charge of socials, and they approved. So with that, we had a almost 300% increase in views. So that was around 660,000. And then interactions with our content went up, and this is in the 90-day period. Just again, it was around 4,000 interactions. So that's any comments, likes, and shares. That was an increase of 26%. And by the way, this is comparing to the previous 3 months. And then followers, we gained 428 in that period, which was an increase of around 140%. So I wanted to go over the results from those 2 paid campaigns that we did. So I ran 2 tests side by side, one with a video and one with a graphic, which actually surprisingly, the one with the graphic did better, which took me by surprise because video normally performs much better than photos or graphics. But so I shifted the budget towards the one that performed best after testing it for about a week and a half. And the results were, so with that pixel, we were able to actually track how many people were initiating checkout. So it was, with the first test, it was 100 people. That's how many saw the ad, clicked on it, initiated checkout. And that gave us a $3.52 cost per website initiate checkout. So that's how much it cost for each lead, essentially. So $3.52. Whether or not they actually completed the checkout, I don't have that data, but they initiated checkout. So 100 website checkouts for the first one, it reached around 34,000 people and had around 64,000 impressions. And then the second ad, the video one, had around 11,000 reach with 1,700 or 17,000 impressions. That one was costing around $5 per website checkout and had 23 total people initiate checkout. Total spent for those 2 tests were $485. So as long as if 100 people initiated a website checkout, it would have covered the ad expense. So I'm not exactly sure how that reflected on the front end, but that's the analytics that I have for these 2 ad tests, which is good because now knowing for next general season, I actually have that pixel, whereas for this season, I didn't have it until the very end. So I'm able to do a lot more testing now and a lot more tracking of what people are clicking on the website. Any questions on that?
Chair, may I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Regina, that's awesome. Thank you for getting the pixel in place figured out. I'm thinking, I wonder if we could talk to Kevin, Candy, or somebody on the analytics team to see if there's not a way that we can't figure out if we're passing that pixel or a token or some kind of UTM parameter into Fair Harbor. That would allow us to actually get beyond where Regina can see, but to identify where in the funnel in the Fair Harbor system these folks either book the ticket or they're two clicks into Fair Harbor and then they bail or whatever the case may be, because I think this would be incredible information, and to tie that all the way through the point of sale would be amazing for us, I do believe. So I think that's
Certainly,
something we should explore for, if we can.
definitely. And then that way too, if we have that data of the people who initiated checkout but didn't complete it, I can retarget those folks. So yes,
Absolutely.
if we can get that more in-depth analytics, that'd be great. So you said Kevin would be the one to work with on that?
Well, I'm not sure. I would defer to Candy, Regina, because Kevin was helping us, set everything up with the website and the custom links. But I feel like he has an analytics or a dev team or a group that he had offered their services to us, when we were getting everything built out with all those new sort of customized links that take you right to the specific diesel train or whatever, Toast the Canyon train. So I would defer to Candy if there's another person, but he might be a great starting point for us.
Yeah, he would be. And he has offered to do
Okay.
that. I remember that too, Dave. So I can get in touch with him and kind of give him my version of what I
Yeah.
think you want, and then I can have Regina talk to him too.
Yeah. Yep, but that's only if my peer Leah wants this kind of confirmation data to help drive and guide our marketing efforts.
I don't know. We kind of like shooting from the hip. So, yeah.
Well, we are a historic train, so.
Yes. Very good. Thank you, Regina. Anything else you'd like to add?
That is all for now. So that the November trains for the Polar Express are still available. So we'll do a heavier push on that. Any ad spend that we would want to use on that, or are we pretty confident that it's going to sell out anyways and just focus on organic?
That's a great question, and I think Candy was going to take a look and get very specific on how much inventory we have and when. And so let's wait till we've got that information, and then we can look and see if we feel like we need to put some dollars behind it.
Great. Thank you.
So we will be in touch.
Perfect.
Very good. Thank you so much. All right. We will move on to our executive assistant update, Sherry Bailey.
Good morning. As Candy said, end of season. The few events that we had this year, I think were a success. We learned a few things. 2 out of the 3 wine train events that we put on were sold out, as well as the Mark Twain train this past Friday, sold out at 265 seats. So 4 cars, lots of hands on deck. Learned a little bit of that. For next year's planning, I think we need to figure out how to let people be in Virginia City a little bit longer. Seemed to be kind of a thorn a bit. And yeah, still getting ready for Polar Express. Our retail's coming in a couple of weeks, and we have Liz ready to start decorating, I hope, next week.
Very good. Thank you so much. Questions, comments from the board? All right. Hearing none, thank you kindly. We'll just touch on our upcoming meeting. It looks like we are going to look at the 3rd Wednesday because the 4th Wednesday next month falls the day before Thanksgiving. And so unless there's a good reason not to, it looks like we'll look at November 19th, Wednesday, November 19th for our next meeting. All right, very good. And with that, we will move on to item number 11, which is commissioner comments or announcements and requests for information. No action will be taken and no discussion among the members or with staff will take place during this item of the agenda.
I have a little, it's not really an announcement, just a notice to everyone that on November 7th, I am flying to Ottawa for NTA, the National Tour Association's travel exchange. So it's speed dating for tourism people. You get very short meetings with tour operators and whatever. And we'll be there specifically representing Virginia City, but rest assured that I will have notes on the train when I give out my one sheets to those people that I'm meeting with. So hopefully we'll get some group tour leads to come back into our area. And we're really trying to make Dave's wife's people happy with America still.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, right?
Very good. Thank you, Leah. Vice Chair Peterson, you have anything?
One comment. I want to thank Tom, Candy, Neil, the whole team, Sherry, for Film Nevada Day. That was awesome. And Leah obviously was at the top, handling the VCTC in the front end of this opportunity that was afforded to us through the Cordillera Film Festival. It was awesome. I was with these folks, not the whole rest of the day, but pretty good chunk of the rest of the day. And to a T, they were all talking about the train. So thank you. I hope that we get something out of this and we're able to play with the train in our own backyard. So many thanks to all of you.
On that note, I've already
I'm
received.
sorry, there's no discussion on.
No, I'm just saying,
items.
I've already
I'm just
received
kidding.
some reaching out from some of those 80 people that came on that. I've already received some emails and stuff. So it's a wonderful opportunity. Every year they nail it on they just show them what we have without us really having to try that hard because our stuff is so great. So so it was a wonderful day. And yeah, I agree. Thanks to everyone that was involved in that because it was amazing. So.
Very good.
And
Thank
now I'm
you.
done discussing.
Very good. Very good. All right, Dave. Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Very good. I will just share that I've still got some items. Chris Freder asked me to work with him on creating some storage, some track storage. I haven't followed up on that yet, so that's something that's on my plate for some of their equipment, creating some additional off-track storage, if you will, or a rip track. I did also talk to the Sergeant Lee from the Lyon County Sheriff Department, just to let him know what's coming up with Polar Express and kind of where we're going to be. And what I volunteered was to get him kind of a diagram of the North Pole and where people are going to be and some of that. He oversees the stagecoach area, or excuse me, the Mound House area, and so he has let his squad know that we'll be out there. They'll do some extra patrols when they're not busy doing other things. They always have someone on in that area, and sometimes multiple people. So he's certainly said, and I'll pass this on to Carla and everyone else, that if we ever need anything, we just call dispatch and they'll be ready for it. But I just wanted to get out in front of that and let them know, especially since we may not have the same presence. Last year we had Max out there, on a regular basis, and so kind of getting out in front of that a little bit in case our folks up at the North Pole need anything, that we're all on board there. So, and that's about it. All right. With that, we will move on to item number 12, which is the final opportunity for public comment. The public is invited at this time to comment on any matter that is not specifically included on the agenda as an action item. No action may be taken on the matters raised under this item of the agenda. Is there any public comment at this time? All right, hearing none, we'll move to item 13, which is for possible action, and that is to adjourn. We are adjourned at 10:02 a.m.